So first let me talk about what is TTS, right? So TTS is essentially text to speech conversion, right? And so your input is text and the output turns out to be some speech signal, okay? So and this should be intelligible, one, right? It should also, if possible, there are many requirements we may have, right? One is intelligibility, like it's if I speak, right, even with your closed eyes you can identify its gender. So you might want a female voice to come out or a male voice to come out, so gender becomes an important thing. You might want somebody to speak very proper like a news broadcaster, that's what we call as neutral natural speech. So I speak like a proper news broadcaster with no disfluencies. I can perfectly speak, right, because I'm usually reading from a teleprompter or something. Or I might want some kind of a conversational speech to show that that is more natural, right? So you might say, hey, I went to Bombay and I saw this lovely gateway of India and I had chart and so on, right? So that is expressive, right? So it shows emotion, and that's often something that you like, right? So somebody doesn't, you don't want somebody to say like, I went to Gateway of India, I had chart, it was very good. So you want something which is, if it's a positive emotion, to give the positive emotion, right, to show that expression, right? And so this is something that is called expressive speech. People have been working on it. Then fourth is, I might want to do speech to speech translation, right? So when I speak, I don't know Bengali, right? So I might say something in Hindi or Tamil or English or whatever it is, and let's say I'm talking to an auto driver in Kolkata, right? So he should listen and hear and understand something, like I might say, how do I go to the Howrah bridge or something, right? So that he wants in Bengali, and more importantly, if I can get it in my own voice, that is even more better, right? And this is called speech to speech translation with voice conversion, that is preserving the source person's voice itself. So tomorrow, if we have politicians giving some speech, I'm just giving an example. So they might want to communicate the same thing in multiple languages in their own voice, because their voice is something that people like. Or you have Amitabh Bachchan, right? So you want to do dubbing, you don't want Amitabh Bachchan, so for example, he is acting in a movie called Vetayan or something which is in Tamil, but if he can speak properly in Hindi, and the same expression, everything is converted to Tamil and it's his own voice that comes in Tamil, then that's amazing. Or conversely, if Rajinikanth is acting in a Hindi movie, right, he can speak properly in Tamil without worrying about the accents and so on, and then convert it to Hindi, and his voice only converts back in Hindi also. That's really good, right? So these are things that have a lot of applications. So speech synthesis is not only converting speech to text, whether I want emotion to come through it, what kind of gender, which gender do I want a particular voice of a particular speaker to be carried through. There are lots of different things that you have to worry about when you do TTS, okay. So as I said, also it's useful for visually challenged, right? You have the stalking screens and so on, right? So that the visually challenged person can actually see what's happening on the screen or on the browser, basically, right? So I will skip a lot of these things, but essentially there were 3 or 4 broad developments in this field that happened. One was called the unit synthesis, which basically happened in the 80s and 90s. Essentially you take small, so you have the way speech synthesis developed is, first I had only one person's voice that I could generate, okay, but to generate it not to sound like synthetic but like natural speech itself was very, very difficult, okay.